of kind of setting the tone for the season?
Well, I think the one thing I try to do as a coach with these guys is you can, because the season is long, you can get caught looking at the season. What we've got to do is really is look at this at very, very small increments. And I know this sounds like a coaching cliche, but we have to prepare today so we're better off tomorrow. And that's really the mentality that we have to have. You know, I think when you talk about the grand scheme of looking back on games from a year ago, back in November and December, our team is going to evolve. It's going to grow. It's going to go through some ebbs and flow. There'll be some times we're going to play great. We're not going to play so great. You know, and you just try to keep on working to get better. But we got to work on addressing the things that we've got to address to try to get better at.
You a superstitious guy?
I try not to be, but I think we probably all are a little bit.
Who picks out your tie?
My tie?
Yeah, for game day.
Well, my wife's been out of town a little bit, so I've done it the last couple of days. Have you been down on them? Have you not done a good job?
No, I'm just wondering if that's a superstition. If it's somebody picking out the style.
Style-wise, UNC Wilmington.
Clothing style?
No, I'm getting transitioning from style.
Okay.
Style. What do they do, and what kind of challenges, if any, do they pose?
Well, I think people know of Buzz Peterson being in this league, so he's very, very familiar with Florida just because being at Tennessee for as long as he's been there. You know, I think the one thing with Buzz is I think he's a terrific coach, great guy. I think that they're a team that's very, very unique. He's always been, I think, very creative on offense. I think they're the kind of team that you can see certain sets and certain things that maybe you would not see, you know, during the course of the year. They're playing a little bit of a Princeton style right now where they're raising the floor and they're making a lot of those Princeton cuts right now. It's a little bit of, it's always dangerous this time of year because I can tell you that in our first two exhibition games, we didn't show everything. And they've had an exhibition game or two, and I'm sure they haven't shown everything. So when you get into this time in the season where you're trying to get prepared, you're going off of kind of the shell, the core of kind of what they're doing, but there's going to be some tweaks and some things that are going to happen in the game on Friday that we have not seen, and there'll probably be some things that we're going to do in the game that they haven't seen, and that's always a little bit, you know, of you get nervous where's your team really prepared, and these games early are very, very hard because of that, but you got to rely on your principles, you got to rely on helping each other defensively, and then you got to rely on trying to make some adjustments coming to timeouts of, you know, where they're hurting us or things that we haven't prepared for that maybe they're doing. So they're a team that's going to, you know, play at about 19 feet defensively. They're going to be pretty physical in around the basket. They're not going to overly extend. They'll show some 1-3-1 zone. They'll play 1-3-1 zone underneath out of bounds. They'll run and jump the first pass. As I mentioned before, they'll run some Princeton-style offense where they'll get the floor raised, a lot of back cuts, a lot of staggered screens. So there'll be a lot of things we'll have to get prepared for.